Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of EP Live. We've got a great show for you, and we're going to start things off with our rundown, and I have to thank a couple of people. Brand new sponsor, Justice Thompson. Thank you so much for your support. And Raymond, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Raymond. And we got you this rundown. It looks like the Assassin's Creed franchise isn't taking a breather. More rumors have come in that Ubisoft is planning to release a new game called Assassin's Creed Odyssey, possibly before the end of the year. French gaming website Jeux Video has posted an image of a promotional keyring bearing the title and a Spartan warrior helmet, indicating that the game will take place in ancient Sparta. Keep in mind that no official announcements have been made, so this could be a hoax, but if a new Assassin's Creed game really is on the way, don't be surprised if it's announced at E3. I really hope that we're not getting an Assassin's Creed game at the end of this year. I loved Assassin's Creed Origins. It was awesome. It's still awesome because I haven't been able to go back and find every little damn thing in that title. These games are massive, and that's a problem. I think they make such big, massive experiences that are worth letting us breathe with. They just did the Assassin's Creed Origins educational release, and they got that into schools all over the place to let us explore ancient Egypt. Ubisoft, let us breathe with these games for a little bit. I think that's kind of what you've been suggesting and planning and working through with, For Honor and with your Rainbow Six Siege, and I think that's the smart play. Let us live here for a little while. We don't need a new Far Cry. We don't need a new Assassin's Creed for a little bit, but I'll be excited to play this if it's coming. An ancient Greek Assassin's Creed, taking place in Sparta. That sounds awesome to me. But honestly, I hope it's a 2019 release. All right, a new Sonic game was announced yesterday, and now big news about the long-awaited Sonic movie has come in. Variety reports that the big-screen Sonic film will star Westworld's James Marsden. Clearly, he is a host capable of anything, and the host is the Westworld reference. It's unclear who he'll play, but we do know that the film will be a live-action animation hybrid, so Marsden could be a flesh-and-blood human character interacting with the cartoon Sonic. Marsden had a similar role in the 2011 film Hop. The Sonic movie is expected to begin shooting soon and will hit theaters in late 2019. I love James Marsden. I actually met him at E3 2 years ago. He's a video gamer. He was at the Xbox booth, and I walked up and I said, "You were great as Cyclops, and I'm a fan." And he actually makes things that he's in much better, and that includes Westworld. Every time he's on screen, I feel like I can breathe a little bit because he's such a competent actor, and that gives me a little bit of hope in this Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which I am, marginally excited about, but who knows? This might be a lot of fun. I love the character. It's just that the character, as he's embellished with lots of other characters and the humans that he's interacted with in the games and stuff, I become less and less excited about him. But you can't just have, a property with one character. You have to kind of add all of this extra stuff, and if you get an actor that's as solid as James Marsden, maybe you're going to make some interesting, stuff for Sonic to interact with. What do you guys think? Are you excited? Do you want human characters and stuff? Let me know in the chat, or if you watch this as an archive in the comments below. I'm curious to hear what everybody thinks about all this stuff. Now, a huge controversy for the video game industry was active over the last few days. Earlier this week, Valve removed a new game called Active Shooter from the Steam marketplace. The game, which had only been released a few days earlier, allowed players to take the role of an active shooter at a high school or the SWAT team trying to take him down, and the game actually allowed you to murder students. Valve itself had nothing to do with the making of the game and says it was created by a single developer who they've had problems with in the past. To prevent problems like this from happening in the future, they promised to have a broader conversation about Steam's content policies going forward. Dear God, do we seriously need game makers to explore this as subject matter, as fodder for, a game at all? Clearly, it's an exploitative move. It's trying to kind of get into this idea of controversy to sell product, and it's horrifying, It's just the wrong play. This is a serious discussion that children are having with the world right now. Students are having with the world right now about guns in schools and, how we secure these schools and let these kids be safe. All I really want is to have the students safe and I don't want scumbags trying to make money off of the idea of fantasizing the idea of killing students. I just think that just is despicable. So I applaud Valve on their efforts to remove this and to stop products like this being available to people out there. Certainly, we have lots and lots of games that explore some really heavy topics, and I think that's fine, that's valuable. But this is just a shoddy experience made to kind of capitalize on awful, and we just can't have that, you know? It's just gross. You gotta do this with some sensitivity and a sense of responsibility, you know? This is really happening. Kids are really dying, and families are getting shattered, and we need to approach this with some maturity and some common sense and some decency. And so I applaud Valve for taking that off. That is just a disgusting idea. All right, and speaking of glorified violence, audiences are finally heading back into the danger zone. Tom Cruise has revealed that the long-in-development Top Gun sequel has officially begun filming, bringing years of development hell to an end. The film is expected to see an aging Pete Maverick Mitchell take the role of a flight instructor, teaching a new generation of pilots, and also deal with the rise of unmanned drone aircraft in the U.S. military. Top Gun 2 is being helmed by Joseph Kosinski, who previously directed Cruise in the sci-fi movie Oblivion and also directed Tron Legacy. You know, I dug Top Gun in the 80s. I thought that it was a fun movie. I certainly saw the sort of the propaganda type elements of it to kind of champion the idea of Navy pilots and all that stuff. And I wasn't crazy about that aspect, but you know what? Like, it was also a fantasy, and it was brought to the screen quite well by Tony Scott and company. I mean, it's an iconic movie for sure, and it really helped to cement Tom Cruise as an international movie star. So I'm excited to see how they're going to reframe all of that. Hopefully, it will be made with a little bit more sensitivity, and it won't just be this rah-rah, you know, let's all go and become military pilots kind of thing. I mean, certainly drone warfare is also a hot topic issue and a hot button issue out there. So hopefully it will also be made with some maturity. I like Kosinski as a filmmaker. I think he's a meticulous craftsperson who has some, you know, problems really getting into the emotional heart of some of his scenes and some of his characters. But I also am a fan of Tom Cruise and the movies that he has made, you know, since Top Gun. He's a guy that really throws his all into the work that he does. And certainly there is, you know, lots of prime real estate in this subject matter. The idea of somebody that's stuck with the military and has a military career and has perspective around all of this, because presumably has seen some conflict, some real battles, and what kinds of stories and experience he's going to share with new recruits and all that stuff. I think there could be some really interesting subject matter. And you know, I like these two as a pair too. They've done some pretty cool stuff together. Oblivion was a solid film. So I'm looking forward to this, and I hope it is a cool movie that lifts off of the iconic imagery of the original Top Gun, but isn't quite as superficial and kind of surface level as that movie ended up being. But you know, most importantly, I hope it's a hell of a lot of fun.